Hello everyone, so I recently got a comment on one of my older videos asking for a non-time-lapse version of it. It's nothing really special, so I'm gonna just get going straight up. My scene over here is actually quite simple. There's 3 area lamps over here, and this is just a backdrop. There is nothing special going on in this scene. The backdrop right now is just colored black. I believe it was a bit creamy colored in that video, so I'm just gonna switch it to that. Something like this. Alright, let's get going. So I'm going to start it off by adding a Bezier curve because that's what I used in my other video as well. I'm going to rotate this along the y-axis over here by 90 and just move it up over here. Next up, I'm going to come into the geometry tab over here and increase this depth. So as I increase the depth, you can see it basically becomes a stalk. Get into the front view by pressing the 1 key on your numpad. I should probably enable the shortcut keys over here. You can see what buttons I press over here now. So get into edit view or edit mode, and you can basically play around with all of these different settings. So I want to have, well, a stocky look. And yes, you can extrude it up and just move it over here. Let me just hide everything else though. I only want to focus on this for now. Alright, so that seems good enough. I'm also going to get into the side view, so by pressing 3, and actually it already looks quite decent. Yeah, I'm happy with this look. So I'm just gonna unhide everything, well, unhide the camera to be honest, just unhide that as well. And let's just move it up over here. Now, the next thing I had was, I'm just gonna move the cursor over here, so Shift S and cursor to selected. Now this might not be the exact way I made it in that video, but it's pretty close. Doesn't really matter, don't worry about it. I'm gonna add in a UV sphere up here and just move it, sorry, scale it down. Oh, scale it down. And after that, it's actually quite simple. Let's just move to the side and rotate it like this. You don't really have to do this, I just do it because why not? And add in, what's it called? Particle system. I'm going to convert it into hairs, and this is way too big. So I'm going to tune it down to say, that seems good enough. Move the camera up over here. And actually, I just want this area and nothing else. So Control B and then just drag it wherever you want it. That's basically all you have to do. Control B is the key. Okay, so this is not enough here, but I don't want to increase the number over here. I'm just going to tune it down to say 250 and then come down here to children and turn on interpolated. Now, by default, the display amount is 10, and when you're rendering this image, it's going to take it up to 100, but we don't want that. The reason we don't want that is because it's going to be, well, this thick. Actually, let's keep it this thick for this video. Let's actually keep it this thick for the sake of this video. Now, most of the other things that I'm going to be doing is going to be in the shading editor over here. Your shading editor might not look like this, so you can just move things around and actually change it to look like this. You don't really have to, it doesn't really need to look like this. Don't worry about it. But before we do that, I wanted some thorns over here as well. Now, I'm not going to be making the pot in this video because to be completely honest, the pot in that video sucked. It was really bad looking and I can probably do a better job, but that would require another video. Anyway, I don't think anyone's interested in the pot in the first place. Okay, this needs thorns on it. So I'm just gonna come over here, and before we can add stuff to this Bezier curve, we need to convert it into a geometry or convert it into a mesh. So just right click, convert to mesh. And now this is just like any other object. Be careful though, because once you do this, it becomes vertices and all of that stuff. You can't play with the Bezier curve anymore. So make sure it has the shape that you want and then convert it into a mesh. So I'm going to give it another particle system. Let's just call it thorn because why not? And I'm going to say convert it into here. That is way too many. Say 25. 50. Yeah, 50 is fine. 0.25. Way too big. 0.1. Much better. Let's just up it to 100 so we can have some over here as well. Okay, it doesn't need children because if it has children, then it'll just give this weird look, and we don't really want that. Not even simple children, just straight up no children, please and thank you. Children not allowed. Um, okay. Let's just change the seat a little bit because I want some hair up here instead of like down there now. No, too close. Yeah, that looks fine enough. That looks decent enough, actually. Now, I'm just gonna switch to the shading editor from here on out. Just zoom in. Oopsie daisy. Just zoom in all the way up here and convert, well, change to render view. All right. Now, the thing with hair is hair gets the color, well, the hair strand will get the color of the base. So whatever the base is over there. So what you can do is, for example, if you use, oopsie daisy, again, if you use a noise texture and pass it through a color ramp, this is just the simplest way of doing this. There are a lot of different ways to do this. You can actually give different colors to different sections of this. In order to get you to understand what's actually going on, let me turn off the particle system. See, I'm basically coloring this sphere at the base, and what's happening is, well, the hair that grows over here gets the color of that strand. So it's actually quite simple. Just turn it back on. I don't think that needs more explaining. I am going to just move this up just a little bit here because I want some spots. And let's just make this, say, reddish pink. That's good enough. And just darker, just a bit darker. And the other color can just be something that looks nice with red. So just looking at this color wheel over here should give you a good idea. So like red, so complementary colors are obviously gonna be, say, not green. It's kind of messy because the background is creamy as well, so you kind of have to just stay around red at the same time. I'm just going to stay. Do I want it to be pink? Why does it even matter? Okay, anyway, something that's actually interesting and more fun than just playing around with this color wheel over here is being able to change the noise texture into something else. So for example, if I use a Voronoi texture instead of the noise texture, right? Let's just connect this vector to here and use this thing. Voronoi is, again, Voronoi looks like this. It basically, it's just cells. What the Voronoi texture does is it creates cells, and you can even have a different color for each of those cells. So something like this. And when you put hair on that, it kind of looks really decent, not gonna lie. You can obviously change the settings as well, but then you have to use the distance and not the actual cells part of it. And something that's even better is you can connect both of these together. But if you're doing that, then you're gonna need some math nodes in between. So for example, if I multiply this by some number, then I can actually change, well, where the Voronoi texture appears. So what's actually happening is this is changing where the Voronoi texture appears, and that's being controlled by the vector output, so this. And if I want more, then you can just add in another math node, add in a little bit. Actually, if I want more, I'm gonna scale it down. Anyway, that's way too advanced for this video. This is what the distance looks like, the color, and the position. But we're only interested in the distance because we can just color the blacks and the whites differently. Okay, anyway, yeah, so now can we just color the stalk quickly and just get things done with? Let's just select the same method, just pass this through a color node. Sorry, pass this through a color ramp. Do this. I want the black spots to be, yeah, something like that. So we can just make that dark green. And oh, you can control C on a color. I have just pressed control C, and then whenever you paste it anywhere else, it just pastes that. So control V, and then we can just make it lighter. But I want I wanted to change from one color to the other, well, not suddenly. So for example, this looks really bad. This spot over here, this looks really bad. But if you just do it like that, it actually looks quite decent. So that's why I did this. Something else that should be part of this video but wasn't part of the original thing. So something else that beginners are not really familiar with is that if you select this sphere right now and go into particle editing, what you can do is you can just brush all of these particles up in a specific direction that you want. And it's gonna look hideous in this case, but it allows you to, well, look, it actually just does look hideous. Let's just move it all the way back down here to different directions and then go into object mode. But basically what it allows you to do is it allows you to change the way the particles are, well, facing. You can obviously just delete edit over here and it'll just change it back to normal. So if I just want ever so slightly everything to look like this, then yeah, it allows you to do that. It's not a perfect circle anymore. Let's just delete that again. Anyway, so that was actually rather quick. Alright, so while recording, I kind of forgot to record. Luckily, I still have the original thing over here. It looked like this. So first of all, what I did is, let me just quickly do that again, okay? Actually, I don't think I even need to do that again. You guys probably realized already what I did. So just press this, like select this, Alt-T, move it over here, move one over here, maybe just move it up. Move it back a little bit, and Alt-T, just one final one over here. Press 0, and there we go. Let's just center this a little bit. So move it, say like that. Let's just select the back one, the one that's at the back, and move it up ever so slightly. And let's go back into shading view. So next up, what I did is I just got rid of all three of these and added in a noise texture. So you add in the noise texture. I'm going to up this detail up to 16, maybe some distortion. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this up. All right. And I'm just not happy with the colors over here. I believe I like the original one more, which was more pink, less creamy. I'm just going to move this over to pink as well. To be honest, it's kind of unfair if I'm talking this over because I've already done it. This is what I ended up with on the previous one, but you know, why not? Let's just do it again. I want the lines to be more obvious. So let's just make sure it's something like that. Ooh, not that way. So just over here. Let's just do that. This should not be causing my computer to lag, but for some reason it is. So this is basically it, I believe. What if I just change this scale up? Ooh, that's a lot better. 2 is a lot better. Oh yeah, you also need to rotate all of these differently. So just select them all and rotate them however you want, just so the pattern doesn't repeat. And that's the easiest way to do it. You could also do some magic over here with the vectors and each of the different objects, but I don't really, this is just simpler. It's just a lot easier to do it this way. Anyway, I don't want this to look like a single line from here to like that's just continuing on to the other part. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this video. I'm not making the pots over here though. The pot that was down there, it was hideous in the previous video. The only thing interesting was the stones. I'm gonna put a close-up of the stone over here when I'm editing this video. Let me know if anyone's interested in that. I don't think anyone will be. It's super simple. It's just a noise texture with an emission texture as well. Anyway, that was it for this video. Like, subscribe, do whatever you want. My English is going down the drain because I haven't been making videos at all. And yeah, just smile and have fun. Goodbye.